Welcome to Reseller Recap, where we talk all things reselling across multiple platforms. Join us for real-life discussions on how we crush the elusive work-life balance. Grab a coffee and join us now.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Reseller Recap. On today's episode, we're going to talk about the things we love to sell, and we're going to talk about it across kind of all platforms. So, Emily, you want to start today with what you love?
Wow. So I sell. Why do you start giggling?
You started giggling.
The way you answered it, you're like, wow.
All right, I got to really lock in. That was a big question. I sell, on all the platforms, Facebook Marketplace, eBay. So that's what I'm trying to think. My favorite thing, I think I enjoy the most selling on Facebook Marketplace. Like I have the funniest, oddest things I've sold over there.
Okay.
So that would be like, Amazon, and Walmart, you have the normal things, right? Like, okay, clearance finds, but Facebook is always, it keeps it interesting. One time I sold a musical instrument, and when the guy met me at the Target parking lot, it was like a trumpet.
Okay.
It was a French horn. He put it together and he played me a song.
That's cool.
That was funny. That was really interesting. I've had a lot of like random things, like that. So
Yeah.
Facebook Marketplace was really, Poshmark and Marketplace, I've made a ton of money on Marketplace. So just connecting with people, like strangers, you have 1 out of the 10 times it's going to be weird, odd.
Okay.
It's going to be interesting situation.
Yeah.
Happens. So I think that there's always something over there that's like, okay, well, I didn't think that was going to happen. When I started on Amazon, I thought I was going to be a bookseller.
Okay.
And that's like all the content out like 7, 8, 9 years ago. You sell books, and those people made a lot of money. Yeah. And then they changed how they charge for books, and the whole industry, kind of fell apart. But so I would get on Facebook Marketplace and buy people's book collections.
Okay.
So then I would go to their house and it was a whole thing. Like I've tried Amazon every way. So one time this lady had a ton of books and she's trying to get rid of them. And I was like, so excited. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be an Amazon seller. I'm going to make a ton of money. It was a whole thing. Went over there. She opens the door with a cigarette in her hand. And I was like, I can't take your books. We were both disappointed. I felt embarrassed. And that's when I was like, okay, I got to start asking people, if you smoke, I can't sell your books. So, yeah.
Who smokes in their house? That's always surprises me.
Old people.
I feel like on Facebook Marketplace, there's so many scams.
Yeah.
Do you not get that?
Yeah. Is that
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
No.
Really? I feel like
I get a lot of people who say they're going to come, but I've done it so much. I have like a pretty good system. So now with people send the money beforehand too. So you get paid, and then you can be like, if you want to secure your spot, you need to Venmo me before. Okay. So things have gotten a little bit easier over there, but I did pretty well. Actually, when I got started my first year, Facebook reached out to me and I set up a meeting with Marketplace. And they wanted to hear about like my journey. And because when they started Marketplace, it was from moms who started a group to swap and sell.
Okay.
Yeah. They love the idea so much. It grew into Marketplace. So that was really interesting. But that was kind of like a big, in the summer, it is a bigger spot for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do the Swift swaps. Like the Swift swaps, people will roll up. They will show up. Very rarely will they not. Like, because I know certain groups, like especially in my area, people are serious and will take it serious. When I go to some of the like bigger cities that they have to come a little further away and stuff, then it's different. But like straight up Facebook Marketplace, I just feel like it's scams. Like it's people that are like, oh, can you meet me here? Oh, and I'm driving, and can I now only pay $5 for 50?
I got in a car accident, and I'm in the hospital.
Yes.
That has been an excuse, like
ridiculous. I know. Oh,
I'm in the hospital and I can't come. I got in a car accident. Now I have to use the money to get a new car.
No,
But those two,
I sold our car on Christmas, actually. This past Christmas, I sold a vehicle. So, and one of my first hustles was selling cars on Craigslist. So, I mean, I say like, oh, I'm past that. I've grown, I've matured. And then on Christmas, I'm out.
You're out
selling
selling a
cars.
car.
No, we sell our, so my husband was like really into motorcycles, dirt bikes, all that. So he'll sell, like when he's done with it, he'll sell it on Marketplace. And we've had really good luck there. But I feel like there's a lot of hiccups before we get to that seller. Like there's a lot of people who don't show up. There's a lot of
Yeah.
people who are like, oh, we'll give you $500. And we're like, do you know how much this costs? Like,
Yeah.
no.
Do you know one of my I feel like the reason it's gotten better is I'm super clear in my description now. Like I'm not
Mhm.
trading. So there's
Yeah.
things up front, but also I'm not nice and I try to approach it like a man because I realize when people text Brandon, they're like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't like they treated him differently." Like
Yes.
and then if it was me, a woman, they were like, I can't
They
come.
walk
Can
all
you
over
lower
you.
the price? Can you? So
Yeah.
I try to be like
Yes.
middle finger energy,
Yes.
man energy, and it's fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. When we sold our vending machine business and we had our vending machine in the garage and so many people were trying to rip me off. They were so like rude. And so then I told my husband to post it. I'm like, you post it. And people were so nice. And I'm like, he ended up finding, if I remember correctly, it was him who ended up finding the person who actually ended up buying it. And
Buying
I'm
it.
like,
Yeah. Peace out.
people will be like, "Oh, can you deliver it?" And we'll be like,
Yeah.
"We can deliver it, but we're going to charge you, this much because you're so far away." And they'll be
Yeah.
like, "Okay, you can come at this time." Okay, what's the address? Never hear from them again. Just
Crazy.
So what was the initial question?
Was
I
what
don't-
you love selling. But I love
oh
this.
yeah.
It's fun. I'm like, I didn't know this stuff. Share.
Oh, what we love selling because you started talking about marketplace and then
Yeah. Because you said all the platforms, like we don't want to, because I mean, pick one, start there. What do you like? Because you said you like clearance finds and stuff. So, but
yeah.
Facebook Marketplace, I know you talked about like doing estate sales. You started with books on Amazon.
Yeah.
So, were you sending in those books and doing FBA, or were you?
I was
Mhm.
sending them all in. I
Okay.
really love estate sales. I like connecting with people. And so anytime I can connect with people and go through all their personal belongings, that connects everything I love. Like I want to know you and I want to know your backstory and dig through your underwear drawer
I
and
want to go through your bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Literally. Like when me and Emily first met, we are just trauma dumping back and forth.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess it depends what platform, but
yeah,
I love it all.
Morgan, what about you?
So I love to sell the forbidden, the beauty is so much fun, but it is becoming a red flag on both Amazon and Walmart.
Yep.
You can sell it a little bit on eBay, like mainly discontinued does really well.
Yeah.
But some of the other stuff doesn't. So I'm actually slowly making my exit. I'm not really buying any new beauty stuff just because Walmart has become pretty restrictive in terms of brands and stuff as well, which boo. So that was like my number one because I just always think it's so interesting how many different lines like brands can have. Like Neutrogena has so many different skincare lines and face lines, and it's like, how is this different from this one? What does this do? What does that do? I get like really into the stuff that doesn't even matter. Like I should just be selling it, but then I get interested in it. So now that is, not a thing and we're not shopping at TJ Maxx and Home Goods and Ollie's anymore. I like the grocery category. I do think there's some fun stuff to sell in it. A lot of grocery is really boring to me, but then when you get into like those like really random, unique flavors, like oh, I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
Oh, like what about this type of marshmallow, or what about this type of candy? Like this is interesting. That kind of stuff is fun. I like Emily, I didn't start only with books, but I had probably about 50% of my business was books with my little finger scanner in
Finger
Goodwill and stuff.
scanner.
Yeah, it's like I don't even know where it is anymore, but it was like a little scanner that goes on your
What?
finger, and you like every time you hit a barcode, it would go to your phone. And then there was
Oh,
like an app that you I forget what it's named now, but there's an app that you can scan like book UPCs or ISBNs, and it'll tell
okay.
you if it's profitable or not.
Oh, neat.
And so like you put in like your metrics, yeah, and
Okay.
like for what you want for your ROI or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you put in like a standard price. So you kind of have to like do some brain math.
Okay.
But yeah, you scan it and it'll be like, this is good, this is bad, this book
Neat.
isn't on Amazon. And yeah. So I would just be
Yeah.
scanning through all the books. And then once you get all the green ones, then I go through and do a bigger analysis and make sure like, okay, this
Okay.
actually sells, this doesn't. And yeah, like Emily, I would send them in. Some of them I would keep, but I would send them in. I also did DVDs as well. But
Okay.
then, Amazon, yeah, they changed their fees and books became really expensive, not only to send in, but to store. And
Okay.
so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna
Peace
exit
out.
left. Yeah, I was, like I said, I was selling other things too. It wasn't just books at the same time. But I honestly, looking back on it, did not like selling books. It was gross, very
It was hard
grody,
work.
Mm,
dusty. It was heavy. Yeah, it was hard work.
yeah.
I did the same thing. I posted in our I forget what that neighborhood app is. I don't know if you guys have it, but it's like an
Like
app for your neighborhood.
next door.
Next door, yeah.
Yeah.
And I would post in there and advertise like I'll come take any books you want to get rid of.
Wow.
And I got so many books from that.
Wow.
Luckily I didn't run into any cigarette smokers, but a lot of dusty,
Yeah.
crusty.
Stinky. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was interesting. And then I did DVDs. I would also post that too. That
Okay.
was fun just to see like the random things that you would get, like movies
Yeah.
you wouldn't even think about, because those are really the profitable ones, are the ones that like you've never heard of.
Hmm.
But I struggled with that one a little bit because like scratches on the back and all
Mm.
that. And some people test them, some people don't. Some people would like I don't even remember what it's called, but you can like take the scratches off. But then that could like ruin the DVD, and there's just a lot of rules with it.
Okay.
Um so yeah, but I had this really funny, it's not funny. I had this really like ironic experience where I went to go pick up like this huge tote bag. I think it came out to be like 170 DVDs. And
Oh
it
wow.
was far. It was like an hour and a half, 2 hours away from my house. And I was going through all the DVDs, and one of them had like somebody's household, I guess they had labeled all of their DVDs.
Okay.
And the house was literally two houses down from me. It
Crazy.
Wow.
had the address on it and their name. The people
Whoa.
that it was, they didn't live there anymore. But I'm like,
Okay.
what are the odds
That's so
that
random.
this is literally right here? Like, where
Yeah.
did you get this DVD from? So I actually kept that one for a while, and then eventually it sold. So I took it off.
Okay.
But yeah, that
Okay.
was fun. And then I mean, Walmart and Amazon. Walmart, I'm not going to tell you the category I like to sell in because it's kind of low key right now and it sells really well. So I'm going
You're
to keep
fine.
that one to myself. But
Uh,
Amazon, I like selling bundles on Amazon.
yeah.
Properly branded bundles on Amazon.
I know. Well, and you know what I've noticed the last couple of weeks? Like they said they were cracking down on generic, and I am seeing so many new generic listings. I'm like, what? I
Yes.
thought that this was not allowed. Like, how are these coming out of
Yes.
nowhere?
Why is it an option?
Yeah.
Right.
Just make it,
Right.
take it away.
Right.
And it's annoying because these products, like the brand exists, and you could have added this to the catalog properly.
Mm-hmm.
And now here I am, I can't sell that variation because you made a fake generic listing and made up some brand. And yeah, this is
It's
just,
so tempting because it's like, look at all these new listings. Clearly, they're not doing anything about it. Because like back in the day, that was like the workaround. Was
Yeah.
like
Right.
if you couldn't do things, just make a generic listing. You want
Yeah.
a bundle, just make a generic listing. Like it's fine.
Right.
And so it's like there's so much money over there, like, and then nobody can get on your listing.
I know.
So like, yeah, but it's totally not worth your account. But
No.
it is very tempting because on Valentine's and even like Christmas, like a lot of the candy bundles, generic,
Yeah.
generic, or misbranded.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
When you have to know what the real brand is. Like we were talking about this,
yeah,
like right now everybody's talking about Easter stuff. So people are like, oh, there's these Peeps listings, like the brand's Peeps. That's not the brand for Peeps. Just born
yeah,
brand for Peeps. So if you're
yeah,
getting any listings that say Peeps, guess what? You're wrong. You can get IP'd, and yeah, that's not going to work for you. So, I know.
yeah. What
With
about you, Jen?
I started with beauty, so I was the idiot
Oh
that
yeah.
was at TJ Maxx, like, and Marshall's, spending like hours, just scanning everything and anything that made my, money, like even a couple dollars, and shipping it, peeling those labels off,
Mhm.
like the heat gun. My husband, like that thing again, and peel sticky everywhere. My hands constantly sticky. So I mean, it was fun because then, after a month or two, I just knew what brands like
Mhm.
sold, because you just get to know them. And so I could just go in and like clear shelves out and just I had my loops to hit, of all the
Right.
stores and stuff. But then everything just started getting well, first, I think a wholesaler came on,
Yeah.
started representing like the biggest brand that I was selling. And then other stuff just started getting hard gated and restricted. And I was like, all right, I got to pivot. And so I love to sell things that I can just throw in like a poly bag or throw in a padded mailer. Like I don't like to have to box stuff. I don't want to have to prep a lot of stuff. Like if it's just simple that I just pick it up and throw it in a bag, like that's my favorite. So, yeah. And I put that everywhere, because I love to buy big enough quantities that then I can have it listed on Walmart and Amazon,
Mhm.
which you just have to watch because you can oversell. You got to watch doing that
Yeah.
cross posting stuff, because I swear something won't sell for like 6 months, 6 months or 9 months, and all of a sudden, like I hit the buy box on both platforms at the same time, whoever was there before me, and boom, I'm gone. And if I don't
Yo.
watch it, then I can oversell, and then I'm,
Right.
get yourself in a lot
Yes.
of hot water. So, but yeah, I mean, it's so funny because at the Walmart conference, they're like, can you, we had that powwow with the, directors and stuff, or whoever they were, the higher ups. And they're like, tell us what you sell. And I was like, anything that makes me money. And they all just started busting up, and they're like, thank you for your honesty. Like, you're the first person
That's
that's
real.
just like, I was like, seriously, I'm like, I don't care. Like, I have sold the randomest stuff. Like, my favorite was one store I like, I sourced pre-seed, and I sourced condoms. And I'm going through the checkout, and they're looking at me like I'm psychotic because why are you buying both of
Wow.
these together? Because this is not going to work. Like they didn't know that I was, selling it, but I'm like, they must just think that I'm crazy.
So you're
But I
just,
was like, I don't care. It made me money. At the time that stuff was
Yeah.
selling. Like people need to
I
buy.
hopped on the I hopped on the condom train over the summer. That was a
Yeah.
good flip.
Yeah. Like I don't.
What's the craziest things that you guys have sold recently?
Recently,
Oh yeah.
Or maybe recently and of all time?
of all time, probably hemorrhoid
Yeah,
suppositories.
I was gonna say there was that summer where I think there was there wasn't a hemorrhoid shortage, unfortunately, but the products you needed were in shortage, and yeah, that
I
was
was probably like just going in store and just
Yeah. No,
yeah, that was probably the weirdest one.
yeah, I think mine was the pre-seed condom thing, because it was just so funny, because my orders were like, make sure not to send the wrong thing to the wrong customer, because these people would like to have a child and these people would not like to have a child.
yeah.
Yeah, I would say recently it would probably be the condoms. It was like some I guess that type of condom was being discontinued,
Yeah.
and people really want that condom. I mean,
Yeah.
as soon as I sent them in, they sold out, and
Yeah.
I had a good amount of them, so
Yeah, I think I
I
was
would
gonna
say,
send all of it in, and I was like, I always like to put everything up first, seller, and just see, because sometimes I'm like, I don't want the lag, in case maybe
yeah.
it really is just gonna sell super fast. So I'm like, I just always like to put it up, and then it's funny because sometimes I'm like, well, good thing because I just sold out, like in the last
Hmm.
weekend, it wouldn't have even gotten there yet. So I
I
don't know.
hate
What
when
about
I
you?
have
Yeah,
stuff
something crazy?
where like I need to do a WFS shipment, and then for whatever reason I just
Yeah.
never get around to that one item, and then like 3 months later I'm like, you know
Yes.
what, let me just list it, and it sells like that, and I'm like,
Yeah.
this could have been out of the house 3 months ago.
Yep.
Yes. I'm surrounded by, I think I'm at the place with selling that I've sold it all, but nothing is like so crazy. I'm looking around like, oh,
Yeah,
nothing is
yeah,
too crazy. There's not the shortages like we used to have where there was like something so random.
Yeah.
I
yeah,
think it's pretty like chill right now.
I know
So,
a
yeah.
couple years ago, did you guys jump on the tampon shortage a couple years ago?
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
because you could not find them in regular stores, but Walgreens had them, and they were for some reason still getting it. So I literally went to every Walgreens within an hour of me, and I was doing. If you ordered online too, they were like $4 cheaper than if you went in store. So here
Wow.
I am picking up like multiple orders. Like 30 boxes of tampons, and they're like for a woman's shelter for, like they're looking at me like I'm nuts. I'm like, sure.
it's for
Like,
I
me.
love when people are like, oh, you're donating that, who are you donating it to?
yeah, to my wallet,
My
to pay
bank
my
account.
bills. How about that?
Yes. Actually, what there was something, but I think I would get too much hate to share. But there was something during early shutdowns that was selling really well because people thought it would treat COVID symptoms
Oh,
and sold it freaking like hotcakes. But it was on the line of like either people would be like, okay, or other people would be like, how could you? I can't remember the name of it, but that was probably the last like that was interesting.
yeah.
What was it, like vitamin C? I'm trying to think what got rid of COVID.
What they said was supposed to.
It
Yeah.
Yeah.
you got it at the hardware store. I'll say that.
Oh boy. Oh, was it? Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yikes.
Yeah.
Oh, yikes.
It's an interesting time to be alive.
It was an interesting
COVID
time to
was
be
an
alive.
interesting time. I'm so mad that I found reselling after COVID.
Same.
Man, because I was
Same.
always in the grocery store anyway. I like lived in Walmart. So I could have been making money this whole
Yeah.
time.
It was like everything during that period was so weird because it would be you would find something that was the weird season because you would find something that was available to you everywhere, but
Yeah.
for some reason in a different part of the country it was gone and they couldn't get
Yeah.
it. So it
Yeah.
was like the most odd things that you were like, okay, this is what I'm selling now. All right. And it didn't make a lot of sense to me, but it was very weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, COVID was a time to be alive, that's for sure.
I know, because pools, like I think about that, like because out here, like the above ground pools, like just don't ever sell. So like that's one thing that I feel like I can always find like on a really
Yeah.
good clearance because all of us have in-ground pools already. So like I've flipped those, but I was like, man, during like COVID, that would have been like I
Yeah.
probably sold those for like 4 times the price, like
Oh,
nuts.
I'm sure. I just even thinking about like what I was doing during COVID. Like I was going over to a friend's house and we were taking the kids and getting kiddie pools and slip and slides and
Yeah.
all of the things off of Amazon.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And
I was
yeah,
probably selling it to you. That was probably
yeah,
I learned so much about pools during that time. Like I said low key on another call recently, like I know everything about above ground pools because I really from set up to tear down and winterizing, I was selling it all. And probably I sold a pool I got above ground pool I got from Menards. And when I tell you this puppy was heavy and they only had one, I think I had help getting it to my car, but
Yeah.
I think I paid like maybe 150 and I think I sold it for over $1,000 if I remember. I think it was like $1,200
Wow.
wow.
marketplace, but we sold a lot of pools, a lot of pool filters. It was an interesting time.
I never do
Yeah.
any big heavy stuff because I know one of our stores clearanced out trampolines like
Yeah.
2 years ago, and I drove down just to get us one. But there was legit like another like reseller I know around. Like he pulled up in his truck and trailer, and like they were, because I spotted where they were up like high, like they had to go get the forklift to get them down off the top shelf and stuff. And like he was trying to buy all of them, and I was like, no dude, I was here first, I spotted it, I get at least one. Like you can have the rest, but this is for my kid. I know who you are, like because they're on Instagram all the time and pushing their stuff. So I was like, I get one. Like no thank you. You know, you've been looking around trying to find them and you didn't look up. That's your problem, not mine. So
Yeah.
let me get my one.
Yeah, I think like the big stuff, the breakable stuff is honestly a pretty solid market because nobody wants to do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to deal with the headache of like, depending on how big you go, sometimes you have to put on a pallet, sometimes you have to deal with like higher pricing for shipping. Nobody wants to deal
Right.
with the mess up of that because if you mess that up, then you end up losing
There are a
money.
lot. Yeah.
And then it's the same thing with glass, really. It's not, you don't lose as much money, but like if you mess that up, then you're out of that money.
Yeah.
So if you do it right, though, it's very profitable.
Mm.
I probably sold hundreds of pool ladders, and those puppies are big. I sold more pool ladders than pools.
Wow.
And
Wow.
those puppies are so big, but I would travel. People are gonna hate me if they didn't hate me before this call. They're gonna hate me.
They're gonna hate you. Excuse me. You provided a service. It's the same
Right.
as a store. Like, are you gonna call? Like, this is what I don't understand. You gonna call Walmart and Target and complain to them about how much they're charging for the pool? No, because you don't know how cheap they got it. If you knew how cheap they got their stuff and how much they're marking it up, you would be upset too. So
True.
calm down.
Yes.
Calm down.
Yeah, you got Jen worked up.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yep.
It turns out, you know, but like some people they get it and some people they don't. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I was really thankful the other day at Walmart. I was leaving and like the guy checks the receipt and he was like, "Oh, what are you doing with all this?" And I never know if I should tell them the truth or not, you know. But I was like, "Oh," I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm selling it." And he's like, "Good for you, because that's the same thing Walmart does." And I was like, "Exactly." And he's like, "That's the American way. Like buy low, sell high." And I said, exactly, except people are actually having to come in the store to get stuff and I'm shipping it straight to your door. So, and he's like, no, he's like, that's really smart. If I was younger, I'd be doing it too. You know, he was older. And I was like, thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Can I record you and you film a little commercial?
Yeah. Right. I think people are so removed from the process. It's like our food industry too. We're so removed from what we eat that when we see a farm, we're like, ew, that's how we kill animals. We're like so disconnected. Like, what do you freaking think the chicken tenders are coming from?
I know.
It is the same thing. Like, we're so removed from the process of where our products are actually coming from that it's confusing to people.
Oh, for sure.
I have to bite my tongue on like social media and stuff when people are like, I hate resellers.
I know.
Somebody commented on one of our like Instagram reels from like this promo, and they were like, people think that reselling is easy because people who don't have brain cells are the ones that are doing it. Or she said something like that. And I was like,
go ahead and try.
I wanted to say something so bad. But I was so good. And then she came back and she said something. I don't remember what she's like, oh, am I supposed to be happy that you something? And I was like, be what you want to be.
I know.
Do what you want to do.
Yeah.
That was my response to her. But I really wanted to say something else.
I'd like to know, what is your job? What is your qualification? So like, that's what
this is so off topic, but I don't know how Emily does not reply to people because I will be in her comments like, excuse me.
I know. I don't know how you do it.
Morgan tries to bring the like, let's all remember that. Let's be kind. She tries to people are literally like, I will kill you.
Yeah.
She's like,
you're the worst.
Like, if you don't have anything nice to say.
That's so funny to me.
Oh my gosh.
And then Emily, it's funny because I'll reply to it and then she'll text me and she'll be like, oh, you're in my comments, huh? I'm like, somebody's got to set these people straight.
People are not nice. Like, they forget the golden rule. I don't know.
Yeah, how do we get so off topic here?
Yeah, anyway.
No, it's fine. Well, we can, yeah. How about we conclude this week's episode? Hopefully, you got some tips and tricks of things we do and platforms we sell on, and we will catch you guys on the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.